Good going there, Time Master. White Canary and Rip Hunter decide to go dancing, so let's hop on into tomorrow. The Legends of Tomorrow, that is. Hi guys, I'm Jason Inman, and I like to talk about comic books, but I also like to talk about comic book shows. That's why on this video, I'm going to give you a full recap and review of Legends of Tomorrow Episode 3, plus some really nifty Easter eggs. So stick around for the entire video. There will be spoilers if you haven't seen this episode already, so let's hop on into it. In this episode, the team was still in 1975 and was divided into three fronts. The Atom and Martin Stein decided to save Kendra. Rip Hunter and White Canary decided to take down Vandal Savage themselves, while Captain Cold took some cohorts to Central City and decided to try to steal an emerald. And here were just some of the small yet interesting Easter eggs that I noticed in this episode. We flash back to 4000 BC where we see Rip Hunter try to kill Vandal Savage. And of course, Vandal Savage kicks his butt with the Staff of Horus. Now the Staff of Horus is the exact same staff that Vandal Savage used in the Flash Arrow crossover that introduced a lot of the Legends of Tomorrow characters. Rip Hunter also drops the famous trailer line on us that I've seen Men of Steel die and Dark Knights fall. Now this is very interesting since I believe the Superman and the Dark Knight universes are off limits to the CW. So what Man of Steel did Rip Hunter see die? And what Dark Knight did Rip Hunter see fall? It's a nice little wink and a kind of like, hey, tip of the hat to the rest of the DC universe, but what does it mean in this universe? In this episode, we also get another nice look at the Jonah Hex poster, so I'm very excited that he's coming on to the show in a little bit. A very small yet funny Easter egg happened when Martin Stein and Ray were trying to save Kendra, and they were looking at the fragments of the knives, and Martin was like, well, I don't think there's any way that you can miss them. And Ray said, I bet that's what they said on the Titanic. Now, why this is funny is that Victor Garber was actually an actor in James Cameron's Titanic, so it was a nice little wink and a nod to the Titanic movie there as well. Seeing Vandal Savage's followers brought up some thoughts to me that maybe Legends of Tomorrow is going to tackle the Religion of Crime. Now, the Religion of Crime was this organization that was introduced in 52, a series that Rip Hunter is heavily involved in. It's basically this one where this entire organization was dedicated to the first murderer, basically Cain. Now, it seems like Vandal Savage has kind of taken over the Bruno Mannheim role from 52, but it has a lot of overtones of that same storyline. So I wonder if we're going to see the Religion of Crime. Now, those were all the Easter eggs that I noticed, so let's talk about the good. And the good about this episode was that I felt that everybody had a purpose. Ray and Martin were focused on Kendra. Rip Hunter and the White Canary were going after Vandal Savage's money. And then we had Captain Cold, Heatwave, and Jax going to Central City dealing with the pod. Now, in previous episodes, there's only been a two, of course, I felt that a lot of the team members just kind of had nothing to do except stand around and sort of say their line when they had to. But in this episode, I felt that every member of the team had a true purpose. And if every episode can go forward like this, I think that's going to make this a very strong series with the multiple that will always have 3 points of view. They introduced the concept in this episode called the Carib. Of course, they showed us that when Rip Hunter went back in Egypt and tried to actually kill Vandal Savage, that there was sort of this legend formed in his religion of crime, or whatever you want to call it, and his followers to look out for the Carib. I think that's an interesting idea, that this series is not the first time that Rip Hunter has tried to kill Vandal Savage. The first time he did it, he failed. I actually hope that we reveal that there are more times that Rip Hunter has tried to kill Vandal Savage, and that Vandal Savage has seen him. I didn't really like the line when Vandal Savage was like, well, it's been 4,000 years since I've seen you. I'm like, no, Vandal Savage would be like, like once or twice a decade, this guy's gonna show up and try to him in the back, right there, twist it a little bit. But my Egyptian kung fu can stop him. So I like that they are developing this relationship between our main protagonist and our main antagonist, that they are developing. And I thought it was an interesting concept that when when Vandal got his throat cut, that Rip told him the names of his wife and his child, which is kind of setting up sort of a paradox here that, now Vandal Savage is going to look for a woman and look for a boy named Jonas to kill. Rip, you sealed your own future, and you created, maybe in Doctor Who terms, a fixed point in time. Good going there, Time Master. I also thought this episode brought a lot of great emotional beats to the series for the first time. Now, the first two episodes I thought were very adventurous and full of ruckus. And this episode I felt we had adventure, but we had moments of joy, elation, and sadness. I love the moment between Martin and Ray, where Martin was like, oh, I remember you back in my class, and you were the most brilliant student I ever met, and then you find out that he was actually lying. I love the moment where Captain Cold got to talk to his little boy self and tell his little boy self to only look out for him, which kind of fits in with this timeline. And the fact that Rip didn't want to sacrifice anybody else in the team, because it's an interesting juxtaposition of Rip, is that he's not the most qualified leader to lead this team. They really haven't shown his badassery yet. We kind of had a little bit of it in the first episode, but we've kind of lost it since then. And I hope that all these emotional beats for the team kind of let them gel and move forward. Now let's talk about something that I didn't really like in this episode. And I only had one thing that I didn't really like, and that was the fact about Sarah's bloodlust. Now in Arrow, they stipulate that when somebody gets resurrected from the Lazarus pit, like Sarah Lance was, they come back and they have a bloodlust. Like they just have to kill everybody around them. In this week's episode of Arrow, Thea, who has also been resurrected by a Lazarus pit, is dealing with the same thing. And they talk about that, oh wait, how did Sarah not have a bloodlust? And they revealed that because John Constantine, resurrected her in Arrow, he cured her of that. They state that in last night's Arrow, the very night before Legends of Tomorrow, they say, oh, Sarah doesn't have a bloodlust. And then we get an episode where Sarah has a bloodlust. Hey guys, your writers' rooms are right across the hall. Be like, hey, does Sarah have a bloodlust? No, she doesn't. Cool. Simple as that, and you fix the problem. I think this is just a slight oversight. I really hope that we don't see any more of the bloodlust. It's kind of a tiring storyline. For me, it's the weakest storyline Arrow this season, and I don't really want to see it invade Legends of Tomorrow. Just let Sarah be our badass assassin chick, and that's all we need. Overall, I thought this was a very excellent episode of Legends of Tomorrow. I felt that everything was gelling, everything was coming together. I think every character had a purpose, and I think Vandal Savage was really set up as an awesome villain. His whole army is kind of scary, and it kind of works and kind of makes use of the fact that we have to use all of time to fight this guy with all these followers who believe that he's a god, which kind of ups his villain factor and makes it more exciting. If I was to rate this episode out of a scale of 1 to 5 Captain Coldheads, I would give this a 4 out of 5, which is pretty damn good. So yeah, I want you guys to let me know down in the comments. In this episode, they go to 1985 at the very end, or 1986, I'm not certain there, don't quote me on that. I want to know, what time period do you most want to see them go to? For me, I would love to see them go to the 31st century. I think it would be so awesome to see the Legion. But let me know in the comments what period of time that you want them to go to. Don't forget that we also do a Supergirl recap show on this channel, and you can watch it every week, every Monday. You can watch the last one right there. And if you like all these recap shows and all our podcasts that we do, including Geek History Lesson, you can support us on Patreon, and you can do it right there. I'm Jason Inman. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll be seeing you.